Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are across the world. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Live a Phenomenal Life Show with me, Madame Merola. Woohoo! So great to be here again on another Hi, all out greatness on Instagram. Good to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Live a Phenomenal Life Show. My name is Madame Roller, and today we're going to be talking about becoming a history maker. What a fabulous topic because you know your life is significant. There's something in you that you need to unleash in the world that other people need. So, how do you become someone of prominence, someone of significance to the point whereby your name has been mentioned in history books? People are talking about you long after you're gone for something that you brought while you were here on earth. That's what we're going to be talking about today, how you can become a history maker, because it's not for some select few, it's for those that dare. For those that dare to leave their mark, for those that dare to believe in themselves, for those that dare to go for their dreams, for those that dare to follow their passion and also fight for the justice that they believe is determined or necessary in this world. So yes, you can be a history maker too. So, hello everyone. My name is Madame Merola. I am known as the Bang Creator that ignites the beautiful and bold, audacious, no excuses, God's masterpiece in you. That's what the Bang stands for. And of course, I am here to ensure that you are inspired, empowered, and transformed one show at a time. Last week, we had a guest who talked about how we can achieve personal empowerment, right? And I thought this was a great follow up to the fact that once you've learned that the power to be the best of yourself, the power for you to grow and to actually unleash your greatness and to also be to diffuse your essence and your gift to the rest of the world. Once you've already know that the power is within you and you can do whatever is necessary to ensure that you have the wherewithal, then the next thing is to start to ask yourself some critical questions as to why am I here? And what are the things that I'm so passionate about that I want to ensure that I take responsibility for, that I lend my voice toward, so that by the time I leave this world, I will feel like I've done all I can, that I die empty. Hi, the food lover NG endowed Ebob212. Welcome on Instagram. And to those of you on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, welcome, welcome, welcome. Invite your friends, share this video because we're going to have to count being a women leader, all the other different titles and hats that we wear. I want to be able to say that I did all I could for all that I cared about, that I had passion for things that were above and bigger than me. And I lent my energy, my passion, my talent towards making sure that there was a meaningful contribution and change towards the impact that I wanted to see in the when we think about what do these people do? How do they think? What were they actually imbibing that allowed them to become history makers? We talk about Martin Luther King Jr. We talk about Nelson Mandela. We talk about Mother Teresa. We talk about so many people that have existed in time past. We talk about, for those of us that are spiritual, Jesus Christ. We talk about Prophet Muhammad that lived, for those that are Muslims. We talk about so many amazing people. Mahatma Gandhi. There's so many names. I'm sure many of you will start to think of names. And guess what? Those are not only the history makers. The history makers are people that are probably unknown to the general world, but had a significant impact in your life that changed the course of the direction you were going in life and helped you to shape yourself. Some of us, the history makers that are significant to us, could be someone like our grandmother, someone who fought for us, someone who stood by us, somebody who encouraged us. So many times when we think about history makers, we think about the grand scale ones, the people that abolished slavery, the people that fought for independence, different things like that. Here in Nigeria, we have names like Obafemi Awolowo and stuff. So when we think about names, we think about the people that fought for great causes, right? If you look in the Bible, you look at people like Abraham that became the father of nation and stuff. He's a history maker for a reason, right? So you need to start to ask yourself, why are people history makers? Why are the names being mentioned over and over again? And why is your name not being mentioned? And if it is something that you are serious about, you're asking yourself, what kind of significance do I play in this life? Am I living far beyond just existing for myself as a human being to be able to ensure that I have money to pay my bills, drive nice cars, live in a fancy house, whatever, and be able to have a good comes. Honestly, I have to say they're just meaner things because we did not come to this world just so that we can have all the fine trappings of life. It's great that we have that. It's great that they come, but it's not the main reason. Okay. So why should we start to consider and think about what is the bigger picture of our existence in this earth? And also to forget that every man and every woman is been appointed a time for you to be born and a time for you to die. So dying is not something you can escape. We are all going to die. We've got a final period of time on this earth. And so when you live without that consciousness of the fact that when I'm no longer here, living and breathing and existing among people, what would they say about you? Because history makers are not, it's nothing about what you say about yourself, it's what people will say about you. It's the stories that people will share about what you did. It's the deposits of all your achievements, of all the accomplishments and all the activities that you did that led to something meaningful for people to take cognizance of it and to even speak about it or to write it down and say, this mattered enough for me to have to record it so that someone else can get to hear about it. Okay. So, what can you do? What can you start to ask yourself? What are the elements that I need to imbibe for me to become a history maker? What are the characteristics and what are the deeper questions I need to ask myself in becoming a history maker? So, that's what we're going to talk about. So, I did all that preamble just so that you guys can get into the flow of what we're going to be talking about. Thank you, Wanjugu Kichuru, my sister from Kenya. It's good to have you here. So before I start to dish out what the meaning of history maker is and also the characteristics, let us do what we always do here on the show. So first thing is, what is your one word for the week? I want to know. I always ask you, have one word for the week that will allow you to stay focused on the things that matter to you. Because other people will come and distract you from your main focus. So you need to put it somewhere. You need to write it down and then hold yourself accountable to it. That's why I say have a word for the week. Okay, so I'm going to share mine with you in a second, but I want you to share yours. Wanjigo, yes, what legacy will I leave? Very important to ask ourselves. Is it beyond the fact that people say, oh, she was pretty, she spoke well, she dresses well, she always had makeup on fleek, makes people laugh. What is your legacy? I always like to use Jesus Christ because he is my superior mentor. He is my ultimate all in all of the person I want to emulate in life. And I always say that he left a legacy behind that many of us are his disciples. Many of us are trying to accomplish the kind of things he did and do the kind of work that he has commissioned us to do. Why? Because of the fact that his life counted for something. He was so powerful that even his death counted for something. And then he lived again. So you have to ask yourself, as you are here right now, living and breathing, are you having a bigger picture in mind as to what is my life going to count for? Am I going to be a history maker or a history partaker? Because you can partake in history, being that you were one of the people that came, you were one of the crowd, you are one of the people that are unnamed. I think about the story of when Jesus Christ fed the people with the 5 loaves of bread and 3 fish, and the fact that some names were never mentioned and whatever. And I say that there were many people that Jesus Christ encountered, but then their names are never mentioned. So when your name is never mentioned in places you existed, you need to start to ask yourself, am I just merely showing up, existing and breathing without really living and putting my mark in this world? All all out greatness is boldness, my word for the week. Wonderful. And it's one of the words that is key for this week. So thank you for this topic as well. Boldness is required. So I love the fact that you put boldness. So Wanjugu says, my word for the week is extraordinary. I want to give that extra thing in all I do this week, beyond the norm and what people can expect. Fabulous, guys. I love it. Thank you for sharing those. I absolutely love the words you're giving. Boldness, extraordinary. These are all key words as well for the things we're talking about. Why? Because you cannot be a history maker without being extraordinary. It's not for the lily livered, it's not for the faint hearted, it's not for the people that want to be mediocre, it's not for the people that just want to be ordinary and just live life by 24 hours, make a day, and 30 days, make a pay, and that's it. No, is for the people that want to be extraordinary and the people that want to be bold. So thank you guys for sharing keywords. So my one word for the week is prominence, right? Prominence is someone who has achieved the kind of exposure that is necessary for people to take notice of them. So if I tie the words that you guys have shared, being bold, being extraordinary, and having prominence, meaning that you start to do things in such a way people start to take notice of you. People start to recognize you. People start to remember you. If you are a history maker, you definitely someone who needs to be remembered. So that is the reason why prominence is my keyword for this week. That Madame Merola, every time you show up, every time you post, every time you speak, every time you do anything, do it in such a way that it will attract prominence, that people in corridors of power will take notice, that people that have never heard of you before will want to get to know you and work with you. That is my focus for this week. And that's the reason why prominence is the word that I selected. So thank you guys for using those powerful words to ginger me. So now I'm going to share affirmations quickly, and then we are going to get into the topic of the day in full. Hi, Patience Olusui. She was my guest last week on how to achieve personal what was it again? Personal something. And she did an amazing job. Amazing job. You guys need to go watch episode 30, season 5, episode 30. She did a phenomenal job talking about what we need to do to be able to achieve those things in life. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I just got stuck on what she talked about. Personal, it was something about personal, but I can't remember. But I will remember, personal empowerment. Thank you, Patience, for reminding me. Personal empowerment. That is it. So you guys go check out the replay. It is on my Facebook page. It's on my YouTube page. It's also on Patience. You can just go to Patience page on Facebook, and the link has been sent there. You guys don't want to miss this, okay? So I'm going to share 3 cards real quick because we've got so much to talk about, and I don't want to take up your time. So let me go for it. Okay. 1. I'm trying to get more cards out. Okay. 2. And then 1 more from the bunch. 3. Okay. So what do the cards say? Quickly, Madame Merola. All right. So the first card says, I am totally in sync with life. I am passionate about my life. I am free from pain, anxiety, and stress. Optimal wellness is the natural state of being for me. Woo! Yes to that. I say amen. Okay. Wow. This is powerful. This one says, I am walking in my destiny and purpose. I live a life of favor, and great doors of opportunities are opening for me daily. I am blessed and highly favored. Remember, we're talking about becoming a history maker. A history maker is someone who is living a life of favor. And great doors of opportunities have to open for you to be able to do the extraordinary. So, therefore, we need to be blessed and highly favored. Yes, yes, yes. And the final card says, with each new minute, I feel new positive energy within me. And they give me the strength to keep growing and building. I embrace change wholeheartedly. Woo! Powerful cards once again. Powerful cards to ginger us, to keep us inspired. And they align with what we're talking about today, which is all about becoming a destiny, a history maker. Okay. So, who is a history maker? Let me just give you a very simple definition so that you'll be able to lay context to what we're talking about here. I already gave you the preamble to say that a history maker is not necessarily someone who does things on such a grand scale that the whole world hears about it, but someone who lives a life of impact and significance that changes someone else's life, that makes somebody else's life to be transformed, that somebody else remembers them for time and history and records them in their stories because of the impact and significance they had in their lives. So you don't need to always think of a history maker as just the Nelson Mandelas, the Mother Teresa's and stuff. You also can be a history maker once I share this definition with you. So I say that a history maker, I beg your pardon, a history maker is a person who influences the course of history or does something spectacular or worthy of remembrance. So take note of that. Someone who influences the course of history or does something spectacular or worthy of remembrance. So I always say we have so many unsung heroes, people that are not recorded in the big books of history, but they're recorded in the personal templates of other people's history because of the fact that they mention them every single time when they want to talk about something. They say that my life changed dramatically because of Mr. A, because of Miss B, because of Mrs. C. And this is the reason why I say that you need to always ask yourself this critical questions that I'm going to share with you later. What am I existing for? Am I living just for myself? Or am I a person of influence who is able to change the course of history or do something spectacular or worthy of remembrance? So when you start to think about it in the bigger scale of things, you start to see people who have influenced the course of history. If we look at sports, tennis to be very specific, the Williams sisters, Serena and Venus, changed the course of history where tennis was concerned. They did things the way other people never did it and shot to prominence. Okay, so you see what? That others did not dare to take by defying logic, by defying the status quo to say that, oh, it's only people that had the wherewithal or the means to be able to train in facilities that could rear champions. No, they defied all the logic and all the reasoning and all the status quo that existed and decided to rewrite the history for tennis, especially in the women, for blacks, especially. So women of minority color suddenly shot into prominence and took over a place that has always been white dominated. So that is shooting up into prominence and becoming a history maker. So they're history makers in the space of sports. We have people that are history makers in the space of music. So we have people like Michael Jackson, we have people like Whitney Houston, we have people like King Sunny Ade, Fela, Nicola Mokuti. We have so many great musicians that have been able to change the course of history because of the things they were able to achieve. We have people in the arts that have been able to change the course of history. We've got the Van Goghs and stuff that changed the course of history. So you can also be the one that's changing the course of history in your family. So it doesn't have to be on a grand scale in terms of changing a whole nation. It doesn't have to be like what Nelson Mandela did and fighting for apartheid in South Africa. It doesn't have to be what Martin Luther King did and fighting for equality in the United States of America. You could be someone who's changing the course of history in your family lineage, in the way things have always been done. That's the reason why I said a person who influences the course of history or does something spectacular or worthy of remembrance. When you think about people like Bill Gates, you have to ask yourself, before we knew about Bill Gates or we knew about Mark Zuckerberg, did we know the name of their parents? Did we know anything they've done? But because of them, people go and start to search their lineage and ask, is there anything interesting about these people's lineage that gave them that leg up that they needed in life to be able to achieve what they've achieved? They become people of interest and fascination to us. We want to know all about them. We want to know more about Oprah Winfrey. Why? Because she changed the course of history where media was concerned. She decided to be a voice to the what I'm saying, that what you asking yourself that, and every day, that what am I showing up for? Am I just showing up just to be able to make money, to be able to buy the things that I need for myself, for my immediate family or for friends? Or do I have a bigger calling because of the fact that I am not here on this earth by mistake, and I am a very, very critical part of the whole puzzle that God has created? Henceforth, what is my part that I'm supposed to play that will make a difference enough in one person's life for them to be able to say, yes, thank God Madame Merola existed. Thank God Peterson Adeniyi existed. Thank you, God, that Intutu Madikani existed. Thank you that Michael Sewell existed. Thank you that it takes money, honey, to just came to this world and show up in my life. That's how important we are. We don't realize that other people's lives, other people's destiny, other people's prominence is hinged on us showing up and taking full place of who we are supposed to be. Okay. So I just want to read some comments and I'll start to share with you characteristics of a history maker. So Michael Sewell on Facebook says, great topic. We each are uniquely gifted and positioned to uniquely add value that changes the world. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. So now, once you've already started to wrap your mind around the fact that, hey, guess what? I could be a history maker as well. I can do something that leaves an indelible mark on this world in certain key people's life that they'll never forget about me. They'll always talk about me in their success story. They'll probably write about me in their own history books and stuff. What can I do? What kind of characteristics do I need to imbibe to be able to start to become a history maker? Wanjugu Kichuru says other people's prominence is hinged on us. Absolutely. Absolutely. Some people are never going to spring up to their well of greatness until you start to show up as the person you've been created to be. You need to go and read the history of those people that we remember. Somebody spoke into their life. Somebody championed them even when things were difficult. They always had, even if it was just one supporter, one person that kept on telling them, you can do it. I believe in you. Yes, this path that you're taking is a difficult one. Yes, this one is not a popular route, but guess what? I believe in your destiny. I believe in your calling. I believe in your vision. I will be there for you. Come high waters, no matter what is going on, whether in poverty, whether in sickness, whether in health, whether in prison, whether in dungeon, I will be there for you. I will support you. I will pray for you. Those are the kind of people, when you read about their history, you know that even if it's one person, somebody stood behind them and was praying for them, was upholding them, was feeding them, was nurturing them, was keeping them on their toes. and keeping them focused so that they do not derail, so that the life challenge to share with you the characteristics of history makers, so that you yourself was prominence and someone who is courageous. Check it out. They've always been willing to do whatever was necessary. So if you're not willing to do whatever is necessary, if you're not willing to be someone who is bold and courageous, trust me, you're going to struggle to be someone that is definitely going to be a history maker. So that's why I said number one characteristics of a history maker is boldness and courage. You need boldness and courage to be a history maker. So what else do you need? Number two, you need not to be afraid to be alone this journey that God is giving you. So if you know that you want to fight against domestic violence, right? Then whatever you have to be willing to do it. Even if other people discourage you and say, oh, you don't want to step on other people's toes, you don't want this, you don't want that, you don't want the backlash that comes with it because you're going to be speaking about some people and those people won't like it. There's always going to be someone's going to speak against. Look, for every vision, there's always going to be groups of people that are going to want to stand against that vision. It doesn't matter what the vision is. I can guarantee you that you're not ever going to have the support of everybody about the vision because there are always going to be those that are going to be against whatever you want to stand for. So don't be derailed by that. Be focused. And if the people in your inner circle don't even want to go with you, be willing to go alone. Once they start to see the essence and the significance of what you are doing, trust me, some of them will join you. And trust me, other people that God has already assigned will come into your group, will come into your tribe. Because at the end of the day, many times we're so myopic. We think it's only the people that we know that can walk with us on our journey of life. We don't understand that it's a worldwide, it's a big village out there. There are tons and tons of people that will connect with you from India to Jamaica to Afghanistan to China to South Korea to Australia to New Zealand to Spain to New Guinea to Burkina Faso to Cameroon to Ghana to Morocco to Egypt to Turkey. Anywhere in the world, people will join hands with you if they believe in your vision. So be willing to go alone and stay the course until other people start to buy into your vision. Okay. Number three characteristics that you need is you do not need to care about being misunderstood. Look, many people that are history makers that are in the history books were misunderstood by their family members, were misunderstood by their spouses, were misunderstood by people in their constituents sometimes because they'll be like, I don't understand this person. I can guarantee you there were probably many people that told Nelson Mandela it was crazy for fighting for appetite to the point whereby he went to prison and he didn't give up on his dream. So you see from course of history, from the stories in the Bible to the people that we know and walked upon this earth, to the people even in our circle that are willing to keep fighting for the things they believe, even to the point whereby they're willing to go to the prison, get arrested, make protests and stuff and fight against, the people that are refusing to bulge on things that are just not right. They're willing to do it and they're willing to be misunderstood by other people that don't really understand what they're fighting for. So if you're going to be a history maker, you can't be a people pleaser whereby you want to satisfy your mom, you want to satisfy your sisters, you want to satisfy your wife or your husband, you want to satisfy everybody's whims and everybody's thoughts. At the end of the day, you can't do that. If you're going to be a history maker, you need to be someone who stays focused. And that's what the next one is. You need to be someone who is vision focused and steadfast, meaning come rain or high water, you stay on your vision. Jesus Christ stayed on his vision till he left. Why? Because of the fact that he knew that he could easily get derailed into doing other things, right? So you need to be vision focused and stay steadfast about it. and say that, you know what, even when the trial comes, if I get thrown into prison, even if, I have to lose some sleep, even if I have to get, some people have been beaten up, so many things have happened the vision, the bigger the is going to come against you, the bigger the challenges you're going to face. Dream is the bigger your vision is, the bigger your mission is, the bigger your focal points of change is, the bigger up. So the fifth characteristics that you need to have. You need to be someone who sticks to his or her principles, meaning that you are not those kind of people that jump ship when somebody else comes to offer you something good. And we know people like this, they stood for something great. And then all of a sudden, they quietly disappeared and started doing something else because of the fact that they've received money or some kind of an arrangement has been made for them to get a ministerial position or something that is for their own personal gain. So that's how you can ruin the hard work you've done in the past just because you are not sticking to your principles. Your core values remain your core values. What you will not stand for, you will not stand for, regardless of what anybody is willing to pay you or whatever they offer you. You stick to your principles, you stick to your methodology, you stick to the pathways you've created, and you're a disciplined person. You are able to keep your eyes focused on the main prize. You do not get wavered easily because somebody is dangling some golden plated carrots in front of your eyes right now and forget the future and forget the bigger picture of mind. So stay focused and stick to your principle. Number six characteristics is that they are fearless. They don't fear anybody, only God, because they know that God is supreme. But when it comes to man, they don't care whether you're the president, they don't care whether you are the richest man in the world, they don't care about all these things. They just know that if I say this is what I believe in, I'm willing to speak up for it, regardless of who is against it. Many people's mouths have been closed. Many people cannot speak in certain places. Why? Because of the fact that they are afraid of some people in leadership position. They're afraid of the backlash that will come with it. And because of that, they keep numb. They speak only in closed corridors, but they do not speak when there's an open mic in front of all these other people that are the kingpins that have the influence to change things. Why? Because they are afraid. So people that are history makers are not afraid of men. They're not afraid of what you will do to them. They just want to speak for what they believe in and make sure that they walk try and be a history maker. You will enter the whims of this fear at a certain point in time whenever fear erodes your heart and you allow it to overtake you. So don't fear man, just fear God. Okay. Number seven characteristics is that most of these people that I know to be history makers have all relied on supernatural guidance. So call whatever name you want to call it, whether it's Buddha, whether it's Krishna, whether it's Allah, whether it's God, whether it's the universe. They believe in a supernatural power. And they believe that they are getting guidance and assistance from this supernatural power. And that is one of the things that they've used to be able to accomplish some of the great feats in life because they've realized that by their own self, they are not enough. So they need that supernatural guidance to be able to give the collective power and also for renewal, for revelation, for strength that is divine to be able to go on the course of this journey for the entirety of their lifetime. So you need spiritual guidance, supernatural one to be able to take you from being an ordinary person, from being a history partaker to becoming a history maker. Okay. And then another thing about history makers is they're risk takers. They're willing to risk it all for their big vision. They're willing to do whatever it takes, you know. That's why I said that they're willing to go to the prison for a period of time. They're willing to do whatever it takes, right? So how many of us are willing to do whatever it takes to fight for our bigger vision and dreams? Or are we just dreamers, but we're not doers? Do we have the wherewithal and the bravado and that courage that stirs us within to say that, hey, I need to take some risk. I need to be able to say these things in some places that the fire might be too hot, but they need to hear it so that this change can be made. There's some people I need to be able to go and meet and speak to them one on one for them to be able to know that this thing exists and it needs to change. What are you willing to take a risk to stand for? That's one of the things that will make you a history maker. Number 9, the final one that I have for you. He or she needs to be someone who's gritty and persevere. So you don't stop because you failed the first time or you failed the second time. You keep going. You keep knocking on the door. You keep chipping away. You keep banging at it until the rock starts to crumble. So you want to hit a whole mountain. And you can see that you struck it once, nothing happened. Of course, nothing's going to happen immediately. But the continuous knocking and chipping away will start to make it give way until when you least expect it, the whole mountain will come crumbling down. This strong boulder that has been there, that you felt was an impenetrable wall, will suddenly have a little crack and just a little bit more push, and it will give way for you. Just like the wall of Jericho fell down flat after people marched around it and then shouted. The same thing is what we need to do when it comes to fighting and pursuing our God given dreams and legacy. We must keep going. We must keep going, hitting at it. That's why I like the scripture that says, ask and it shall be given unto you, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be open. Why was that K there, the knocking? Because it means that after you've done the asking, after you've done the seeking, you're on your path. There are going to be some things that you need to knock on, and you knock on consistently until the door is open. There are some doors that will be shut against you for a season, for a period, and that door needs to open. So, how do you get it open? You need to keep on trying to get the attention of the door openers, of the gatekeepers, till they open the door for you. So, the doors of opportunities are not opening for you to be able to share your insight. Why? Because you've stopped knocking, you've stopped believing, you've stopped pushing. You need to keep pushing. You need to keep believing. Your dream of owning a nationwide television show, you need to keep pushing. Your dream of being able to open an orphanage to be able to shelter children that do not have parents, you need to keep pushing. Your dream to be able to build a house for women that have gone through domestic violence and are displaced, you need to keep pushing. Whatever it is that you want to do, keep knocking, keep pushing, persevere. So when I say push, push, push until something happens. That is what the acronym PUSH is for me. Push until something happens. Keep going at it. Don't give up, okay? So I said I had 3 key questions I want you to write down and keep asking yourself every single day. Every single day. So that will keep you aligned. That will keep you focused. And you will keep on remembering what is it that I want to do with my life. And then you will say, today is another day that I'm alive. I will stay on this course and I will achieve this dream. So the 3 questions to ask yourself about becoming a history makers are: number 1, what is my mentality? What is my mentality? That's number 1. Okay. Number 2, what is my motive? Number 3, what is my mission? So let me break it down. Number 1, what is my mentality? There are 3 key things that are important in everyone's life. Your mindset, your heart, your vision, your legacy. What do you think about? What do you think about? What is the core in your mind every time you think about this grand vision? What is your heart set about it as well? Are you doing it because you want to be famous, because you want to be rich, because you want to be known? Are you doing it because you truly want to see a change happen? Are you showing up and speaking about child molestation because you really, at the heart of it, cannot stand what is happening. And you want there to be a change. You want there to be um, leverages, you want there to be consequences to these perpetrators, people that are doing these nasty things. Are you just doing it because you feel like, okay, it's a hot topic right now? So if I speak about it, maybe I'll get invited to the president, to the White House, or to Aso Villa, which is the place where the president resides here in Nigeria. And then they ask me to be part of the thought leaders. So your mindset, your mentality is important. Then your attitude. How do you go about achieving these things? Do you go about it in a pompous way whereby you are not humble, people cannot speak to you, you're not approachable, people just find you to be difficult to interact with, your attitude is nasty, all those kind of things. You need to ask yourself, do you think you're better than others? Or are you just someone that you're just existing because you really, really desire there to be a change in the circumstances that you see around you? So you need the right mentality and a servant's heart to be able to be someone who has the mentality of a history maker. The second one, which is what is my motive, is about what is the underlying motivation for what you do. So, is there so much love in your heart for this particular thing that you're fighting for? Do you have so much compassion and empathy to the point whereby you just can't sit still? You just know that you need to lend your own voice, your own energy and resources to make this change happen. You surrender your platform, you surrender the resources that you have to ensure that this change takes place. That's what your motive guides you with. Do you have the right motive for being a history maker? Then the final one is your mission. Are you just chasing after a desire or is it a calling? Because if it's your calling, then you know that it has to do with you fulfilling destiny. And that will guide you in going back to the source of this calling. You keep asking God for the grace. You keep asking Him for fresh insight and revelation. You keep asking Him for divine strength. You keep asking Him to guide you, to keep you, to protect you as you go on this journey of being a history maker. Why? Because your mission is to ask yourself every single day. Number one, what is my mentality? What is my motive? And what is my mission? You will be able to become a history maker. So I have two quotes for you that I want to share, and then I will end the show. If you have any questions, please type them on the screen. I will answer them. Okay. So, one thing I want you to remember is that a history maker has the mindset to stand up for what is right and be a voice for those who don't have voices. You have to be willing to be the champion for so many people that will never have the opportunity to champion these causes that they want to see a change at. And that history makers are most often misunderstood while they're alive and celebrated greatly while they're gone. So don't be surprised where the people around you are very antagonistic towards you, where many people around you don't even support your cause. But when you are gone, just because of the fact that you believed in it with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your body and your spirit, they will celebrate you when you're gone because they will start to have full understanding of what you were doing. Jesus Christ was also misunderstood when he was here. Many people discarded him. They actually told pointers that release this great arm robber and kill Jesus instead. But then, in his death, although he's a risen again, he's still being celebrated far much more than any other human being that ever walked on this planet Earth. Why? Because he's a history maker. He knew what he came here for and he stayed on it. And even though he was misunderstood, he didn't derail from what he was trying to achieve. Okay. And then, as I said, my quote for you for today is quite lengthy, but it's a good one. There are some roles that we are thrust into that we didn't choose. There are some roles that we need to have the courage to take up. You get to choose whether you become a history maker or a history partaker. So that is what I want to ask you. Which one are you? Are you a history maker or a history partaker? I hope you choose to become a history maker. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys have been able to gain something valuable from this episode. This is season 5, episode 31 of Live a Phenomenal Life Share with Madame Merola. I am the Madame Merola, the bank creator that ignites the beautiful and bold, audacious, no excuses, God's masterpiece in you. I'm a total transformational life coach. I'm also a personal mastery coach, image and personal branding specialist. And my singular aim is to be able to help you to discover who you are and so I hope you will start to see yourself. I know God sees you and the way you are supposed to be, and you start to live it. Don't live a life as a history partaker. Don't live a life as somebody who is just going to be one of the statistics of those that existed. Be someone who chooses significance, who chooses episodes. And of course, if you need coaching, if you need me to be able to help you to build your personal brand, for you to be able to discover your zone of genius and to be able to lend you voice in the area in which you want to become a history maker in, please send me a DM or visit me on my website, www.madamemerola.com, and fill out the contact form, and I'll receive it and get back in touch with you. If you want to invite me to be a speaker at your conferences or your shows, please do just send me a DM and I will check my availability. Okay. So thank you once again, guys. Don't forget that you are a masterpiece. Do you 100% and live a life that no one else would be able to say did not make impact, and that your life counted for something far beyond just merely living and breathing, but that you influenced, impacted, and touched lives indelibly that they will never forget you. Take care of yourself, be good to you, and remain blessed. I'll be back again next week. Till then, mwah. Thank you all, everybody. Thank you, Abuzia, Abuzina One. Thank you, Amax Food. Thank you, Ntutu Madikani. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. The replay is going to be up in a few minutes, so you can watch that and share that with other people so they can get value too. So take care of yourself. Be phenomenal and live a phenomenal life always. Bye. Thank you, guys.